Indian River Connections brings you the first source you can watch for truth on board decisions in Indian River County. The Board Report, where taxpayers and policymakers intersect. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite platform to get notified when we go live on Fridays at 7 p.m. Visit IndianRiverConnections.com for more.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to the Board Report, brought to you by Indian River Media. That's Indian River Connections as well. I'm Joanne Bidford, and co-hosting with me today is John Karapi. Hi, John.
Hey, Joanne. It's been a minute. I haven't been on here in a couple of weeks, so it's good to get going back on the Board Report and bringing a lot of good guests onto the to the mix, and a lot of stuff going on locally too. So we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I know it's been real busy. It's been busy for me too this week, and just the weekend, the holidays coming up. I know everybody's got their plate full, just full to the max, getting ready. But today we have a great guest. It's Tessa
Yeah.
Toman, a high school student who serves as president of the Treasure Coast Activism Hub of Turning Point USA, Chapter America Club.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I saw her. Did she speak at one of the meetings recently?
Yes.
At the board? Yeah.
Republican Club in River County.
Okay.
I believe it was.
I caught that. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, yeah.
So I think it's really awesome that we've got TPUSA right here in Indian River County, the Treasure Coast.
Well, we have to get the younger crowd in the mix too, so we got to get them to help us out and lead the charge. So that's great.
Yeah, because we're leaving this nation up to them. It's their nation. They're the upcoming generation. We're getting old and phasing out, and they are gonna, literally, they're gonna have to. Something's gonna have to be left for them and their kids. So it's time for them to step up, and we need to bring faith into it and freedom back, and the Constitution back, and these young adults. It's up to them.
Absolutely, we gotta protect our First Amendment right, freedom of speech.
That's right, freedom of speech. Freedom of religion, freedom of truth. We've got to bring truth back and saving lives. Protecting the unborn. I mean, we've got to bring value and principles and just all the good things back to what started this nation.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. That's why we do this show, and that's why we bring guests on to speak their truth and let us know what they're doing in the community so that we can pass that on to everyone else.
Yeah, and I think it's really impressive because, Tessa, she's also a member of For Liberty and Justice and St. Lucie County Tea Party. I mean, I was just blown away. I was like, this young lady is really taking roots in local politics. She's taking roots in America. And she's been part of the Treasure Coast Young Republicans. I don't know if she's still a Treasure Coast Young Republican or not. And she's also an activist for life, the sanctity of life. So she's just a whole package wrapped up in one amazing young lady. So I can't wait to bring her on.
Perfect time for Christmas.
So what do you say we take a break and then we come back? I'll come back with Tessa Toman and so ask everybody to stick around because we've got a great interview. And if you're interested in TPUSA, tonight is the night to learn more about it. All right, well, let's go to break.
There's a kind of strength you can't buy or borrow. It's born in the fire, tempered by sacrifice, and carried by those who never stopped serving. Some heroes wear uniforms. Others wear scars. They're veterans, first responders, and Gold Star families. Men and women who gave everything and still keep giving. At the Warrior Shield Foundation, we stand beside them, shoulder to shoulder, providing the support, the care, and the community they deserve. We're a proud nonprofit, a 501c3, built to protect those who protect us. We don't just serve our own. We help other nonprofits reach their missions too, because together, we make the shield stronger. Donate and help our cause. Help their cause. Because every act of kindness builds hope where the battle still rages inside. Join the mission. Donate today. Visit warriorshield.org. Because heroes deserve a foundation as strong as their sacrifice.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the board report. We have our special guest with us today, Tessa Toman. Welcome, Tessa.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Joanne.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you on. I mean, you are an incredible young lady, and
Thank you.
tell us a little about what's going on with you and TPUSA.
So I joined Turning Point USA back in May. We had our first meeting, I think the first week of May, and we meet the first and third Friday of every month. And so our second meeting, we were lucky enough to have a speaker, and it was really hard at first to gain momentum and have people want to join our cause because nobody really knew about Turning Point USA. And honestly, it was really hard to advertise because people knew Charlie Kirk, but it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. So I would just be like, Charlie Kirk, the guy who debates people on college campuses, and that's how it would garner more people. But we were blessed enough to go to the Student Action Summit and the Chapter Leadership Summit up in Tampa this summer. And I had the opportunity to meet Charlie, and I got to watch all the wonderful speakers like Tulsi Gabbard, Christy Nome, all of those wonderful people. And I was just able to really feel politics be my calling and really get further ingrained within that movement. And so ever since then, we've just been on the up. We've had more and more members, and through the tragic assassination of Charlie, we've been able to up our membership. We were having 5 people a meeting. Now we have 40 at our most recent Turning Point Faith meeting because we've expanded into a Turning Point Faith for the Treasure Coast. And so God's just been moving, especially in our chapter, and I'm so thankful to be a part of it, and I'm so glad to see the trajectory of where we're going and where we are going to go next.
Wow, that's just amazing. So you got to meet Charlie. How was that?
Well, it was very brief. It was actually a really funny predicament. He was coming down the escalator, but I honestly didn't think it was him. It was the transition period between the Chapter Leadership Summit and the Student Action Summit. So he was going to be in that conference room for the final meeting for the Chapter Leadership Summit. And I look at my friends, I'm like, is that Charlie? Like, am I like being like fooled right now? And they're like, oh my goodness. So I was like, Charlie. And he was like, hi, how are you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing great. And my friend was able to get a photo actually, and he like gave us a thumbs up and was like, keep going. I'm so glad to see you. And it was a very brief interaction. It wasn't like personal or anything, but I'm always like, I'm really glad that I had that interaction because I was so fired up after that because it just became so much more real to me and my friends.
Yeah. Tessa, most high school students are worried about prom and college applications, and you're running an entire Turning Point USA activism hub. What made you decide, like, to really take on this role? That's a big role.
Well, thank you. I've always been into leadership roles, and I wasn't always that way. I've kind of had to grow into it. The Lord has definitely given me opportunities to do so. I've been a part of 4-H for the past 10 years, and I was kind of thrusted into the presidential position because no one else wanted to do it, like around 2 years ago. And ever since then, I've just been into those managerial positions, and I've just been trying to grow in that area and leadership and godly leadership and servant leadership. And so I just honestly, I joined Turning Point because for a school project, I'm dual enrolled right now to gain my AS in project management. And for one of our projects, we had to like interview a series of people, and somehow we got connected with Turning Point, which was really a God thing. I still don't know how it happened. And so I interviewed the faith leader for Florida actually, and then the leader for Turning Point of the Citrus region, which is like Orlando area. And then I interviewed a Turning Point chapter president at the college I'm attending. And then I somehow got connected to a field rep, and he came to meet with us, and it was just for our project. And he goes, "No, I thought you guys were starting one." And I was like, "I guess I can. I didn't know. I'm homeschooled, you know. I didn't think that was an option for me." And lo and behold, you can start an activism hub, which is what homeschoolers can do. And I have a lot of friends up in Vero, Sebastian area, and so I said, how about we just cover the Treasure Coast? All my friends from Vero can come down. I know people in Martin. I'm in St. Lucie. We can have everyone come here and collaborate. And he was like, that's a really good idea. And so it just started from there. I had my board set and ready, and it really was just a God thing. I still can't explain to you how it happened, but I'm so, so glad it did.
So, Tess, what kind of support do you get from Team USA to guide you
We get
in
so
doing
much support. I'm so thankful because at first I really wasn't sure what to do. I knew how big the movement was, and the high school chapters were still fairly new. It was still Turning Point High School when I joined, and it's since transitioned, as you said earlier, to Club America. And that way it's easier to get into schools. It's easier to just wrap it into that instead of Turning Point USA. And through that, we've been able to get into so many more high schools, which I'm so thankful for, because I remember at the Student Action Summit, so many kids were having such a hard time getting it into their schools. And now many of those kids have been able to. So I'm so, so happy about that. But yeah, it's just an awesome time, and they help us so much. They have like a speaker bureau, and you document how many people you have per meeting, and they can send you a speaker, some big names. I know a couple people have been able to get like like Riley Gaines to come to them, and I've been able to attend so many different opportunities. I recently went to the governor's mansion and got to meet Ron DeSantis, and so that was just an amazing time. That was earlier in November. I got to go to a press conference where Governor Ron DeSantis announced his support for Club America and Turning Point USA in every school, and how there will be legal ramifications if that doesn't happen. And so I'm so happy that we have so much support now, because before I remembered it was very shaky and they're trying to figure out how to have that support. And through this tragic occurrence, we've been able to gain that. And I really see the Lord working in our favor in that way.
So, even though Charlie's not with us, the Lord is still working through him.
100%.
Absolutely. And, it's nice to hear all that support because young people like you actually want to step up, but they need a little bit of help and guidance. And that support just brings your spirit out,
Hmm.
otherwise you're still shy and timid and not certain. And then when you have that support, your real spirit and God guides you, and you just come out and you're blossoming. You're growing and you're making this movement uh, blossom more and move
Yeah.
forward. So it's really nice to hear. And do they have like help training you? I know Riley Gaines went to some type of leadership summit to help her with her presentation and doing events and being able to speak more eloquently. Do they are they offering that support as well?
So Turning Point USA provides every I guess it would be region. So I have a regional manager and I also have a field representative, and so both of them are really awesome with answering questions, guiding you in your chapter if you want to do something or if you want to plan an event. They're more than willing to help guide you and direct you in that way. And Turning Point USA, for both high school and college chapters, they have a big array of like training, kind of like tutorial videos and different things like that. And they give me a guide at the beginning of the like semester on how to plan our meetings, and we don't have to stick to it, but they give us free merch, all kinds of things to have at our meetings that are like kind of coordinated alongside that itinerary. And so that's
Mhm.
been extremely helpful, and they have a bunch of resources and videos that we can play during the meetings and just help us as the leadership team learn more about those topics. And so that's been extremely helpful. And they pay for all of our like resource packages. I was sent like no lie, like 12 different packages at the beginning of the semester full of pins and stickers and folders and flyers and all different things. And they'll design flyers for you. They'll like design custom boards. They're so extremely helpful with that. And especially stepping into the Turning Point Faith role, because I'm the Turning Point Faith leader for high school for the Treasure Coast. And then Dr. Brenda McMenamin, she also spoke alongside me at the Indian River Republican Club for because she's the faith leader for the Treasure Coast entirely. So she's pretty awesome. And so stepping into that role, they have a whole bunch of resources for just learning how to have a biblical worldview, how to engage with certain hot button topics from a biblical perspective. And especially because of how much pro-life work I do in that kind of ministry, they provide courses for you to take and printable resources. And it's really awesome. They do so much to help not only you as the leaders grow, but learn how to teach others and help them grow as well.
Wow, that's really amazing. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the growth of TPUSA here in the
Mhm.
Treasure Coast and in Florida. And
100%.
the other thing I was thinking about, a lot of people were saying, and I don't know if they're still saying it, but the Gen Z is lost, because of the indoctrination that they've received during schools and in colleges. And how do you feel this is going to change that? How do you feel about that?
I think we're already seeing it. I think like my chapter is a testimony of that with trying and scrounging up, trying to get more people to come. Now, I like people are inviting friends. I'm constantly having new people come, and I've been invited to speak at so many different events recently, which is such a blessing. And I think people are hungry now, and I think this is so much more real. And I don't know if you've seen like the videos, but people are like, in 2024 I saw how the world reacted to a president almost being killed, and then I saw
Yeah.
them react to what would be me being killed, because everyone saw themselves in Charlie on the conservative side of the spectrum. And I think also on a human level, because he was just such a great man. So I think that all over the world we're seeing it right now. People really embrace that calling and wake up and realize that I need to be a part of, if not this movement, another movement, and really carry these values forward. And I think we're seeing that through the revival happening and so many people coming back to the church and doing it and just embracing Christianity. And I'm so happy to see that.
Yeah, Charlie kind of made it okay for you guys to come out and say, "Hey, I'm Christian and I'm proud of
Mhm.
it," instead of feeling like, "Oh, somebody's going to judge me." Or, even in college campuses, my own daughter went to college and she's a Christian. You had to find your niche of people, but you couldn't always just speak out because it just was just the way it was. And you know what I love too? I love that you're very outspoken about protecting the preborn.
Thank
How do you
you.
talk about the sanctity of life with classmates who've grown up being told it's just a choice?
So my mom was told to abort me because they falsely told her that I had Down syndrome, as if that's even a good reason. There's no reason they should ever abort or kill an innocent human life. And at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's an innocent human life, no matter what way you look at it. And my brother, he has special needs, and they pushed very hard for her to abort him. And they said, well, he's never going to be able to walk. He's never going to be able to talk. He's going to be on tubes, and he's not going to live to be 13. He just turned 13 and he's walking, he's running, he's a testimony of what God can do. And I think even if that wasn't the scenario for him, it should never be right to take an innocent human life. And I see that every Saturday I go into sidewalk council outside our local abortion chamber in Fort Pierce. And it is just we see way more negative circumstances than positive ones, but I've seen many turnaways, and I'm so grateful for that. And I think every time, even if they do have the abortion, that a seed was planted, and we were able to hopefully one day have them come to Christ. And even so many women there, after the fact, they've gone to a local pregnancy center and they've been able to reverse their abortion. And there's so many stories like that we've heard, but unless you're involved within those pregnancy centers, you don't know those stories. And so I think that it's so important to be outspoken for the preborn because they cannot speak for themselves. And actually, our next meeting, we will be having Jason Storms. He is the lead for the White Rose Resistance of Florida, and he's also, I think, the director for Operation Save America, another pro-life organization. And he's just really awesome. And so he's spoken for us before. He was actually our very first speaker we have had at Turning Point for our very second meeting, and he's coming back again to teach all of our new people that want to get involved with the pro-life ministry. And so I'm really excited to see that.
Wow, that's great. Well, let's take a break, Tessa, and then we'll come back with you, and then we'll meet with our panel because we have some folks on the show that would like to also meet with you. So
I
let's
can't
take a
wait.
break and head to commercial.
There's a kind of strength you can't buy or borrow. It's born in the fire, tempered by sacrifice, and carried by those who never stopped serving. Some heroes wear uniforms. Others wear scars. They're veterans, first responders, and Gold Star families. Men and women who gave everything and still keep giving. At the Warrior Shield Foundation, we stand beside them, shoulder to shoulder, providing the support, the care, and the community they deserve. We're a proud non-profit, a 501c3, built to protect those who protect us. We don't just serve our own. We help other non-profits reach their missions too, because together, we make the Shield stronger. Donate and help our cause, help their cause, because every act of kindness builds hope where the battle still rages inside. Join the mission. Donate today. Visit warriorshield.org. Because heroes deserve a foundation as strong as their sacrifice.
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hello. Tessa, it's great to hear from you. I've heard a lot about you, and I've of course read your bio, and it's very impressive. And like Joanne said, I'll just reiterate. It's great knowing that the movement is here in our area. I mean, we're just a small county, but we're all the same area in Port St. Lucie and Indian River, and it's great to see more youth come to Christ and push out for this outspoken values. Because keeping quiet, I say it in our past shows, keeping quiet was what my parents' generation did. The boomers, sorry, I saw Thomas look at me, no offense, but they didn't talk much about politics at the dinner table. And you definitely didn't talk about it with your friends and family. And that's kind of what got us to where we are today, I feel like. And hopefully we're seeing a reversal of that with movements and youth like you out there and just pushing it. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm sure Thomas has got a lot to say too.
Well, no, go ahead, Tessa.
well, I was just gonna say, I say it all the time, so sorry for those of you who've heard me say it, but freedom isn't automatically inherited, and I think that far too many of us think that it is. And I think that because the generations past, as you were saying, didn't fight for it, and they thought, well, we're free, we're doing great. It's landed us to where we are now. And then they're just like, well, that's for the next generation. We're already too far gone. And so I think that it's time for not only my generation, but the generations before to also wake up and say, it's not too late to make a change. It's not too late to take action. And so I really hope that we fight for our freedom and fight for what we have in America and continue to persevere with the biblical values that our Christian nation was founded upon. So I just wanted to add on to that because I 100% agree and I say it all the time.
Yeah, we're built old, but we're fighting here with you guys, Tess.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
Tessa, you're you're like a revivalist sometimes, and you have this upbringing of loving God in a ferocious way that a lot of people your age do not have. And you've gotten this perspective through Turning Point, I think, on your nation and how it's founded. I have a feeling that a lot of it you learned along the way too. And so Turning Point's like your tribe, and you got introduced to them. Is that correct?
Yeah, I really think so because a really big struggle of mine, honestly, is seeing people within the like patriotic movement that we have going on view it through a Christian lens because I am pro America, but I'm pro America with Christian values and standards because that's how America was intended to be. And so a lot of people are pro America, but they don't realize the foundation that we came from. And I think that the more we stray from that and veer from that, the more we're actually not pro America at all. And so I really think that Turning Point, especially Charlie, that's what he had in mind, and that was his biggest goal, was to see a revival within America and to mobilize the church and get the church civically engaged so that it was never a worry to be distant from those America values because the church was fulfilling its duty and its role. And so I really hope to see that fulfilled.
That's amazing. So when you your group is special. It's an advocacy group because you're a homeschooler. You meet, I believe, in a church, correct, in St.
Yes.
Lucie, and so you have kids from private school, homeschool, public school, and varied backgrounds. Tell me, what's it like when kids start learning about the reality of what you just said, the principles of Christianity on which this nation was founded, and the true understanding of what it means to have a constitutional system like we have?
So I think that we have a very like-minded group and I hope to expand even further because I think it's important to take in different perspectives and be able to learn how to take those other perspectives into account. I think that is very valuable. But I think that because we have the opportunity of being an activism hub, we are middle school to college, so we serve a wide range of ages, and
Oh goodness.
it's sometimes hard to connect with a middle school member and a college member. And so it's kind of hard to find that like middle ground, but we've been able to just have conversations and really see where they're at and educate on an individualized level. And I think that is like so awesome. And with the different speakers we've brought in, I've seen so many people completely like change their point of view just because of how many different people we are able to introduce and just have witness to them and help them understand the topic and the reality of what America is going through. And I think we're really lucky to have a lot of people that understand the basis of what America was intended to be. But I hope to further and witness to those who maybe don't understand that as much, and I hope that those that do understand get an even deeper understanding. Just myself, I'm not a genius, I don't know everything, and I hope to further understand those roots and expand my understanding on that.
That's
Tessa,
amazing.
where is everybody meeting? So, like, if we have a Treasure Coast, where do they meet?
So I don't say where we meet publicly. We have an email, so if anyone's interested, treasure coast. Nope, I said it wrong. treasurecoast.tpusa@gmail.com. I always get it mixed up with the Instagram, but treasurecoast.tpusa@gmail.com. And we will give you the flyer with the location, but we really want to be careful so that if there's anyone with ill intent, we have some extra layers of it, like of protection to make sure that we have the most like-minded people and good intent audience
Right.
for our meetings. But we do meet at a church, and we serve a wide audience, as I've said and Thomas has said. So we are middle school to college age, and we also are a Turning Point Faith. So every so often we will have a meeting with a speaker, and they will come speak, or we'll have a viewing of a movie or something like along those lines, or an event, and it's for all ages to come. And so it's a collaboration between Club America and our Turning Point Faith chapter.
I've got a few more questions, but I don't want to cut John off because I usually talk too much. John, do you have anything for Tessa?
No, not in particular. I mean, I see where she's coming from with, keeping it, more of a biblical sense. Because remember, Tessa, it's everything that's going on in this world today is not political; it's biblical. So you're turning that around for people, because God uses something that maybe was used for bad. The great deceiver does things that we think are really bad, and like Charlie's death, but it's turned into something that's really good, because you wouldn't be doing what you're doing today, and we wouldn't be doing what we're doing today if we weren't all called to purpose to do these, to come together like we are, to speak our truth and to
Hmm.
pass this message on to people, and to have them join if they like to, and if they don't want to, that's up to them. It's a call to purpose is what you're stepping into, and that's really what I like to say.
100%.
I wanted to ask you, someone had told me you do a podcast, correct?
I do. It's called
Allegedly, she does.
Allegedly. Yes, Allegedly Tessa. So
Alleg- how can they
yes.
how can we share that? How can they find you?
So I have a link tree, but it's all on YouTube. So if you look
Okay.
up Allegedly Tessa, hopefully you can find it. I don't have a large following, so I'm sure it's pretty hard to find. You have to kind of dig for it. But Allegedly Tessa is the name of my podcast, is on YouTube. I don't have many videos uploaded to it, but I hope to upload more as I gain more free time. I'm so busy.
Well, we'd love to help you. If you want any help getting into that sphere, don't hesitate. Well, we're more than welcome to help you. My
Thank
other
you.
question was, my
And
ten
then
year
I have
old my 10-year-old daughter is sitting here with me, um, going into middle school age. What, being that you're so close, you can relate with these kids a whole lot better than their 46-year-old dad. Um, and I have a good relationship with my kids. But what advice would you give those kids leaving elementary, facing middle school, facing the temptations and just the negative stuff that comes with that? What being so relevant? What is your advice to my 10-year-old daughter?
I would say just dive into your faith and really deepen your relationship with the Lord, because at the end of the day, you may struggle with friendships and relationships and all of that, but at the end of the day, if you find out what God's calling is, and you may feel lost, and you may feel, I don't know my calling, because that's happened to me many, many times. And who knows, my calling to politics that I feel the Lord has upon my heart may shift and change, and I'm open to that. But I feel like if you just deepen your relationship with the Lord, you cannot go wrong. And I think just understanding your identity in Christ is so much more important than anything else. And I really get how isolating it is to be. I became homeschooled right before COVID. And so not only was I just transitioned to homeschooling, also COVID happened. So that was extremely hard for me. And so I really do understand like how it may feel isolating, especially as a Christian and as a conservative right now. But if you just focus on your relationship with the Lord, He will steer you right, and what He has prepared for you, you will discover and you will earn. And it may seem hard, but He's got you, and He will always be there for you, and He has your best intentions in mind.
That's awesome.
yeah.
Thomas?
Yeah. So you came out to the Republican Club of Indian River back in November. People are still talking about it. The the energy that you guys brought was just
I'm
amazing.
so glad.
And it's like the energy you have right now. And but you got to meet the Vero Beach high schoolers, and how have you guys been maintaining that connection and working with them and talking with them and helping them through their launch at Vero Beach High School?
So I've talked to them a few times. I tagged them in our Instagram and stuff. I don't know much news about their first meetings. We mentioned about maybe collaborating, because we're more than happy to collaborate on events and stuff. And I invite them down, but I know it is a bit of a drive. I have to drive 40 minutes to Vero anytime I go up there, so I understand the struggle. But I hope to be further connected. I'm happy to see what happens there. I saw that one of them, I forget the name, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, but they were mentioned in an article with TC Palm, so I'm very
Yes, there
happy
was
to
Max
see that.
and the brother and sister August,
Yes.
and then Sarah. Was Sarah in there? And Lily, I believe her name is.
I think it was Lily. I saw. I couldn't read the article because I don't have a subscription to TC Palm, but I saw that, and I was very,
That's
very
okay.
happy to see that they're getting traction. And I think Vero Beach is such a large school. I think they'll thrive, and I think so many people are hungry, especially up there. So I'm really happy to see it.
That is awesome.
You are a breath of fresh air, I'll tell you that. To
Yeah.
hear the sense coming from you at your age, it gives a little bit of hope that we're not doomed.
Hey, I had 75-year-old members, Mike, telling her that they're going to stick around rather than check out because they want to see how her whole life develops, as well as all these kids that have just taken on this message of hope and the history of our country and pushing forward in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really it's refreshing because there's a lot of kids out there, and Tessa, you just said it, that are staying quiet, but now there's no reason to stay quiet because
Exactly.
you're coming out. It's okay. It's okay to follow God's plan, you know? It's okay to speak out. It's okay. There's people to support each other now. So it's really nice that this is happening. And I really do look forward to seeing it prosper and grow. And, you've got a lot of people out there showing up, right? Like you said,
Yes,
they're
I do.
hungry. They're hungry. They've been waiting for this.
And for the audience, you have to know this, okay? You have this very sweet person here who's just wonderful and really pushing forward, but she's also an amazing butcher. And she can carve up a pig in nothing flat and give you perfect, ribs and all that good stuff. So don't cross her, okay?
I'm so glad. I'll have to give you some.
Champion pig carver.
Well, Tessa, you're more than welcome back to the board report or anything IRC Media has to do with. And anytime you want to promote anything, you want to, whatever you want, you just reach out to any of us and we'll be more than happy to help you out any way we can.
I would love to come back. I love it. Thank you, guys.
And
Yeah.
I do appreciate the work you're doing.
Thank
Yes.
you. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming on, Tessa. So we're going to head to a break and then we'll be back with the board, right?
Yep, let's do
Have a good evening, Tessa.
Let's get a little local. We don't want to drag Tessa through our mudslinging here. So, Tessa, thank you again.
Not slinging mud.
No, it's not. It's a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Come back after the break. Okay. Thank you, Tessa, and we look
Thank
forward
you.
to talking with you again and working with you. So, thank you.
Likewise. Thank you, guys.
There's a kind of strength you can't buy or borrow. It's born in the fire, tempered by sacrifice, and carried by those who never stopped serving. Some heroes wear uniforms. Others wear scars. They're veterans, first responders, and Gold Star families. Men and women who gave everything and still keep giving. At the Warrior Shield Foundation, we stand beside them, shoulder to shoulder, providing the support, the care, and the community they deserve. We're a proud non-profit, a 501c3, built to protect those who protect us. We don't just serve our own. We help other non-profits reach their missions too, because together, We make the shield stronger. Donate and help our cause. Help their cause. Because every act of kindness builds hope where the battle still rages inside. Join the mission. Donate today. Visit warriorshield.org. Because heroes deserve a foundation as strong as their sacrifice.
All right.
Uh,
What an awesome guest.
she's the best.
She should come back as much as she wants.
Oh man, amazing young lady.
And it is refreshing to have some youth out there speaking out. So,
Well, and look
especially
at
in
us.
our group, like our group, we can not like we can all get carried away with what's important to us, but it's I think it's grounding to have a youthful voice in our circle also.
Mhm.
Especially one that's smarter than us.
Yeah, yeah. Every generation,
Smart
thank
kid,
God,
man.
has got the
My
potential to
gosh.
be smarter than the last. So
Look, and you've got daughters, and you've got a nice young lady that just was on our show that your daughters can look up to.
yeah, yeah. And my Reagan is out here actually watching with me. She's drawing, but she was watching.
Hi,
So we
Reagan.
should. She said hi.
Hola, ¿cómo está, Reagan?
She said hi. Will not speak Spanish in front of me. I don't know what it is.
She's
Uh,
creating art at the moment. Let her
5
have her
years,
time.
5 years learning Spanish, but she won't speak Spanish in front of me. But
Joanne
that's
will.
okay. Yeah. So it's been a minute, like you said, John, this morning. We haven't really, or at the beginning of the show, it's been kind of a rough time to get shows out in the air. December's always a rough month, but a lot's happened in the last 3 weeks.
Mhm.
I'm not really up to date with anything school board or anything. I mean, the death of uh,
Very.
Deputy,
Sergeant Terry Jean Sweeting Mashkow.
yeah, kind of derailed everybody's algorithm, I think.
Yeah.
It kind of shifted a little bit. You know, we can get into that. But what's been going on? Thomas, I know you've got your ear to the ground, probably a lot better than
What do you
me.
want to go to school first?
Let's see. Yeah, what's going on at school?
Yeah,
Let's go
school
boring
first.
first.
Let's go boring first. Well, on the 17th, they will have that special call meeting to vote on the reorganization of the district. The thing that Dr. Moore spent November and a little bit of December, well, actually all of November, going out and meeting the community. He went to various associations and he actually even went to the Bar Association. I was talking to a lawyer, a member of the bar, talking about this reorganization of the district. And part of that is Oslo is going to move into the Flick. The Flick, the ninth graders are going to probably move into the high school. They're probably going to get rid of IR Prep, I think, because the attendance is very small there, and that can be also absorbed, I believe, by the high school on a separate wing. There's other reorganizational efforts in terms of middle schools. They're going to close. I don't know which one. You
I-
know, this is where you want Jennifer to be here because she could
Yeah,
wrap up all the facts in 10
we kind
seconds.
of went through the possibilities. Is there any opposition out there to this?
No, and I don't think there should be.
I don't think so either. I mean, why wouldn't you want your school district to consolidate? And then, I mean, not just for that, but I mean, the School of Hope thing. Let's take care of our empty spaces and our wasteful spending before we have to spend it on somebody else.
Well, exactly. And Dr. Moore is, in my view, my opinion, he's absolutely right about this. You know, we're not a D or an F district. We don't have D or F schools. Matter of fact, we don't have any C schools. Everybody's B and A. And, you know, we're going to continue to maintain that. That's our hope. and I think that'll probably happen. Um, and yet these guys, these schools of hope were trying to get into Pelican. The district sent a rejection letter to them, said no, because we've turned it into a K-8 classical. Our anticipation is the next by 27, it's going to be at 96% attendance. That's our forecast, and they're probably right. And so, we don't have any space for you. They that classical, Kevin spoke with Joanne last week. That classical thing, that classical school idea that Jackie Rizzaro spent 4 years advocating for and making a
Pretty popular.
reality and getting everybody on board. I have a
Mhm.
feeling if the board was coordinated and Kevin McDonald wasn't there, or you know uh, Brian Barefoot was still there, we might be in a different situation.
Mhm.
I agree.
And but Kevin was there. That was there's a God move if you ever wanted one. And we're able to just continue. And he wants to find ways to reach out to the community. Look, during COVID, public school systems, the curtain was pulled back. It birthed groups like Moms for America and Moms for Liberty, and all, and it became the central focus. Glenn Youngkin does not become governor of Virginia without the parental rights issue being that focused in Virginia, because Terry McAuliffe said, when your kids are in our schools, they're our property,
Yeah,
basically.
I remember that.
And that turned into the big conservative
Mm.
issue, the common sense issue, because no person, black, white, Republican, Democrat, in their traditional sense, is going to say, you're in charge of my kids, ever,
Yeah, our school district
in
was
that
acting
type of
like that
control.
for a while.
Yeah. And so, you know, that there's a reason Winston Sears lost this time around, because that issue with the dunderhead Terry McAuliffe talking like he was talking wasn't
Mm.
at the forefront of Virginia. And the other side of that is Youngkin and Winston Sears in Virginia. When Trump was declaring his running, they were out there going, well, he shouldn't. There's too much garbage. There's too much baggage, too much luggage, too much this, too much that. And there were a lot of people who are traditionally conservative, Republican, saying that. And the reality is that when you have a thing about justice and someone's getting railroaded like Trump was with all these investigations, the last thing you want to do is give up the fight. And
Mhm.
these people politically did not see the intensity and the fervor of regular, everyday Americans who didn't want to give up that fight. And that's how Youngkin won. He won because those same people were at the schools going, we're in a fight and we're not giving up till we get our parental rights. And they
It,
didn't translate that to Trump, and it cost him dearly in this cycle.
it's crazy. Like without COVID, what and without the parental rights thing, where what would we look like today?
I
It
wouldn't be in this fight.
Neither would I. Neither would John Crappie.
Our
John
kids
Crappie
would be
might
getting
still be working for
indoctrinated.
the chamber, and Joanne might still be working for the school board. None of us would probably be here today. And the same thing with the election. I think thank God it happened, because they would still continue their grooming or their little
Yeah.
micromanaging of eroding our rights and whatnot without being exposed at such a large scale. It really was a blessing, I'd say. You know, just alone with some of the elections and the Moms for Liberty and everybody being able to say enough is enough and speak out.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
because if Moms for Liberty didn't speak out and you didn't had those moms not realizing what their kids were learning in school and being indoctrinated to, there wouldn't have been a fight. But those parents stood up and said, "Hey, we've got to get our kids back. This is crazy." And it spread from Florida. Hey, our women here spread it all over the nation. I mean, we've got Moms for Liberty everywhere. And then
Yeah.
don't forget Patty Sullivan. She wrote the parental rights, and she was working on that for many years before
2 paragraphs
COVID.
turned into a 12-page bill.
Yeah, but it's amazing. This little county, 177,000 people, sprung off Moms for Liberty, the Parental Bill of Rights, right? Patty Sullivan's from here, I believe.
Yes.
Hmm.
And then
And Karen
Um,
Hiltz also, she's
uh,
going around.
right, Laura Zork from the county also, and they're all in a movement to either protect parental rights or protect school board member rights, which I think what Laura Zork and Karen Hiltz are doing is
Mhm.
pretty important also because I mean, you can encourage every Tom, Dick, and Harry to run for an office, but if they don't know what to do when they get there, the people already there are going to take advantage of them, like we saw in
Mhm.
Palm Bay with Chandler, and it would probably happen to me. Like if I somehow got 10 votes and I ended up in a position, I don't know the first thing about, you know, conduct of a meeting. So it's important what these people are actually doing out there.
That
Mhm.
Chandler case is so interesting.
Yeah, we're hoping to get Chandler and his lawyer back on. I think we've reached out. We'll reach out
Anthony
again.
Sabatini's his lawyer.
Yeah, he's pretty
Mhm.
active when it comes to the civil rights of other politicians or citizens in
He got
general.
banished to the basement when he was a rep, a state rep.
Was he a state rep? I
Yes,
see.
he was.
Yeah, it's a new name for me, but I follow him on X.
And
I saw
Sabatini
the
is a
and
news.
who
big
beat
old
him?
fella.
Who beat him for his run for Congress? It was Corey Mills, who has become, the reason that
Corey Mills
what's
is in the hot seat.
Corey Mills. Well, and the reason that they did not censure uh, who were they? No,
Elon.
no, 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 not censure in the House. It was the vote
Oh,
was like three or four short, was because they didn't want to deal. The Republicans didn't want to deal with Corey Mills's issues, which are very, very disgusting.
I don't know
And
nothing about it, and I think we're
yeah,
gonna find out about it anyways.
it,
What do you know about it, Thomas?
well, I don't know. I read a little bit a while ago, and I'm like, but the bottom line is like the Democrats are going to come after them for Corey Mills if you censure our guy. So they bailed. They got enough to bail, and that's what happened. And it's just like, the ethics and reality of politicians these days that just do these things randomly and make deals like this where nobody in the end where there's no sense of justice. It's infuriating. And so what happens? Well, I'm just going to forget it. Look what we got in New York City. You get a Mandami out of that because
Mhm.
there's a guy who said, well, at least I'm going to take control. And now he's taken the weirdest form of control you can imagine. And Charlie Kirk talked about this with Tucker Carlson. I think I've mentioned this before. His amazing interview. He says, if we don't seize this moment and take care of business and reorder our stuff on these principles of constitutionalism and our republic in such a manner, you're going to create a whiplash, and they're going to go to people like Mandami and stuff. And you're seeing that. That's why these joker candidates from the progressive left are out there. This whole mayoral thing that happened in Miami, she got 13,000 votes. Kevin McDonald losing a school board election in our county got 16,000.
Yeah,
Scary.
I mean, are we really worried about the Miami mayoral race?
Yes.
No.
I'm
If
not.
Why?
if that's your turnout and
Well, I
that's
get
your
it.
if that's your enthusiasm quotient, that's what that tells me. There's no enthusiasm.
Yeah,
People are, you know,
midterms are already
yeah,
scary.
they
You
are.
know,
Look, our generation was already indoctrinated. That's where the whole screw up is our generation was already indoctrinated. We had all these people having babies that didn't care, that wanted to be friends with their babies. So nobody paid attention to the nation. Nobody paid attention to what freedom really means. They weren't learning it in school. So here you have all these people having these kids, and they're voting emotionally. They just they have entitlement. They grew up with entitlement instead of learning how to work hard for what you get. And Mandami's like, free this, free that, free that.
Santa Claus,
Everything they want to hear, even though he's lying through his teeth, but they're
Santa
not
Commie.
taking the time to really evaluate and assess who he is. They're just living on emotion, and it's just that's what's destroying our country. I mean, they talk about multiculturalism all the time. All it does is it's a parasite that eats away at our culture, our American culture, but we haven't been responsible for our American culture because we've let these schools indoctrinate everybody, and we didn't figure it out until COVID. And here we are struggling to save our nation, and it's pretty deep in doo-doo right now.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the one of the beautiful things about Tessa is that she's so foundation philosophically,
Mm-hmm.
she's 100% there, and that doesn't even include almost the faith aspect, although it's intrinsic to her, and that's awesome too. But philosophically about this nation, she is there. And there are a lot of people, I remember going canvassing in 2016 with some people about the primary. And these people go, well, I believe in the Constitution. They're at the door, and I go, the people would ask you a question, well, I believe in the Constitution. And the guy would go, well, what does that mean? Well, I just believe in the Constitution. You don't know anything about it. They're just throwing around word terms or
That's how
names
half
of
the
documents.
Republicans. That's how half our Republicans get elected.
Well, I just want constitutional things. What does that mean? I don't know. Well, I want everything to be constitutional. It's like, what is a woman? It's a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
But
same
do they
thing that
actually
Matt Walsh
vote?
has been doing, made $1 billion on.
But do they actually end up voting that way when they get there?
Well, I'm canvassing with this person for the Republican Party of Florida, and they're saying this is their response to people they're trying to convince to vote for the Republican ticket. And I'm like, it's vacuous. It doesn't, well, I'm for free speech, free rights,
Where does
whatever.
that all come from? It's
What does constitutional mean is what
it
the guy
comes
wants.
from
What is
God
a
gave
woman?
God gave us our free speech, where our Constitution is built on Judeo-Christian values. And when I think of our Constitution, I think how it was built, and the people that came over, they all had to have religion, they all had to believe in Christ. They couldn't just you know be leaders of the nation and not have those foundational values. They were very important at that time, and that's how our nation was built.
12 of 13 states.
John, you had something
Jesus
to say
Christ,
about that. What was that?
in their state constitution?
No, it's too late now, so I'm not going to say it.
Oh,
Too
come
late?
on,
It's
John.
never
Don't
too
feel
late for
left
John
out.
Karapi.
Yeah.
Well, it won't fit right.
So let's move on. Did everybody get a chance to see the sheriff's press conference today? Our sheriff in Indian River County.
Yeah,
Eventually.
I
it wasn't
watched
very
it.
eventful.
John, did you watch it?
Some of it, it was a little hard. It was a little hard to pay attention to. Like it was just very. When he's starting to become another actor. Like everything's emotional acting guy now. So
and that's what I was going to say.
That's what I felt
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Today, it didn't seem like we got details. Like it wasn't about details. It was about him coming out swinging in defense of his department. But me personally, other than the wacko, I shouldn't call him a wacko, the blogger from one of the other media outlets, besides his ridiculous article within the week of the deputy being murdered, I don't think anybody was actually going after the sheriff or the department for doing anything wrong leading up to this. But it sure seemed like he was coming out swinging as if somebody was.
From what I've heard some details on what really went down with this thing, and I'm not going to say it on here until I get more confirmation. But I think he's becoming defensive because of what we're doing on things like this, and what Michael Dilks is doing on his show, and what we're doing on the board report, and we're questioning the narrative. What Candace Owens is doing with Charlie Kirk, we're just questioning the narrative, and we're not getting answers. And so when you don't get answers, you become defensive. Look at Charlie Kirk's wife now. She's becoming all defensive now. Everything's a conspiracy theory all of a sudden. So now it's becoming.
The Kirk thing is a bit different because they do have so many known facts, and
what I'm saying,
What
There's
I'm
a
saying,
lot of unanswered questions too.
There are unanswered questions.
What I'm saying is it's still on a local level. I'm just using examples that people are understanding that you're supposed to be asking questions on what really went down when Charlie Kirk's wife's not really doing that and Candace Owens it is. So now we're doing it. We're asking questions on what really gone down, and he's not allowing certain people to come into a presser, and he's not allowing certain things to happen because he doesn't want independent media to speak their truth and express how we feel about it as citizens of the county. So
Yeah.
it is a problem to him,
Well,
and it
yeah,
will be a problem to him.
yeah, we're still waiting on our reply, our addition to the email list, because that's pretty
Yeah.
much what this is like. We asked to be submitted to the media list, and it was pretty soon after the shooting. So I gave them a benefit of the doubt. I haven't gotten a response. Chalked it up to really bad timing, and it has been 3 weeks already. It's only been 3 weeks, but
Yeah,
at the same time, heavy media time. You think we would have gotten some type of response, but
You need
no.
to reach out to Captain Abalo. He's the public information officer.
Yeah, see, I didn't have a name.
Yeah,
The only way you can
throwing
do
it to
it
you
is,
now, and it's
yeah, through the
he's going to have all
website.
pressing.
Yeah, through the website, you can only submit forms. They don't give out anybody's email unless you know them personally. So it's a little frustrating there. So, but yeah, I got to give him credit. I mean, he's holding the department together. I mean, obviously, there's things in place to help him do that. I don't think he is a key component of that. I don't believe anything he's done has been a key component of that. And at the same time, when we have like the Ray McNulty's out there attacking the sheriff,
That was just brutally awful.
at the same time, you had other media personalities like Dennis Michael Lynch doing the complete opposite, saying if the county would have gave him the money he needed, this wouldn't have happened.
That's not necessarily true.
Right. It had nothing to do with it. And the guy said the same thing after Charlie Kirk was murdered, that the county needs to give Flowers the money he needs so we don't have something like that here. And within the week,
Flowers is absolutely right in his presser today that this guy was a scumbag, is how he called him, and a mental maniac, and he ambushed them. And he's absolutely right in describing it. I mean, he went on 3 days later on Bob Seuss and gave a description from the body cam of Tino Arizpe. That's what he said. He told Bob Seuss that, and then he proceeded to say what happened and what transpired in the home. What he left out that he brought up today is the mother and the grandfather were both sort of there in the home. Now,
on the property,
no, he said inside. He goes, they could have been shot. That's what he said.
Yeah, I don't think he said they were inside, but they were on site.
On site, okay. Yeah. But he was like, they could have been hit.
Yeah.
And so they're in the area where that gunfight he described on November 24 took place on Bob Seuss. And so, that's a new detail that we didn't know before, that this gentleman fired over 25 rounds. I'm like, well, I'm asking people, what gun fires 25 rounds without reloading? And because I'm not a gun enthusiast. I barely know what one looks like, let alone own one. So
yeah, I don't know what he used, but there's 30-round magazines.
Yes, there are, but and then all of that is just like, wow. And so there are those things, but the one thing he did say was, he referred to the media in the room as his friends. That really sort of
the media, yeah, exactly. And I was hoping
because they were carrying certain narratives across.
Because he didn't get our pass in there, so maybe we're not his friends.
Well,
I was wondering if anybody else picked up.
One of the things you can do is, as a media person, when there's a press conference, you go and you present your ID and you let them know who you're from, and they may let you in anyway. So, I don't know in terms of the situation you guys have how that shapes, but I sent an email and said, hey, I hear there's a press conference on Friday. When is it going to be? And I never got a reply. And so I called them. They said it's at 1:30, and I went over there. And that's the way I did it. And but the reality of all that is to me, it was odd. He was like, those who perished are heroes. No one disputes that. They
Mhm.
No one disputes Sergeant Terry Jean Sweeting Mashkow's a hero. Orizape is a hero. Farless is a hero. They're all heroes. David Long, a hero. You know, I I don't know, but at the same time, there's things that happened, and we want to know what they are.
Yeah. But even his most fierce opposition in media has not attacked him for or the department in any way for anything that could have changed the way those events happened on the
Yeah.
21st of November.
Well, Ray stretched some things. He's like, Bob Seuss asked him the question, and he hesitated. And he did not hesitate.
I didn't watch the interview.
You listen to it. He does not hesitate. What he does is he gathered his thoughts and he began to give the description of what happened. I mean, it's very detailed. To say that he hesitated under the
Well, he
under,
paused.
yeah, well, of course, everyone's like,
So,
Well, he
well,
had
is
to
is
pause to
Ray
gather
but he didn't
to
really
deliver your
pause that
message.
long.
is
I
Ray
mean,
insinuating?
in broadcast, if you pause for 4 seconds, the alarm goes off. He didn't pause for 4 seconds. He barely paused for two. And so that to me is just saying, I have a lot to say. I'm going to gather my thoughts, and here it is. And
That's
So
it.
is he
Yeah.
being
it's
accused of lying about the what happened, or because I mean, that's pretty bold to accuse him of lying about the body cam footage when eventually it will come out.
no, I don't think he was accusing him of
Okay.
that. No, how could you? But I was just surprised. For me, I come from big city areas. A lot of us do. Um, when you have this body cam footage, and he's describing, he says, and this is from the account of the body cam footage. He's trying to be transparent. I give him credit for that. But I was like, wow, 3 days after, that was I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I was like, why would Ray even write this when you have all of this information here?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot here that he's telling us that he's not going to really share anywhere else at any other time. And you'll never hear
So
him share this again the way he did that on November 24, in my view. And it was gut wrenching to listen to, and but very
I'll
important.
have to go back and watch it. But I would say this must be like a new leaf Ray may be turning over. Like, how quick did he turn that article around? That was within the week, right?
Well,
Usually we get
came out. It
2
came
week
out.
news from Ray.
It came out. It came out the week of right after the funeral. Correct? Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. And so November 24. So that was basically, yeah, that was a week. That was the Monday before. It was when he shared that story 3 days after the shooting, and he shared that information. It was very detailed, and
So what happens next? With this case, are we going to get details on this eventually?
if there's a grand jury, there's going to be a lot of details, and it's one of these things that's going to go for another year and a half or so,
Right.
just because of that. And then there's state invest 1,000 pieces of evidence, all the things he talked about today. There's just a lot there, and he's trying to be as transparent as possible, is what he said. Yeah, I mean, I give him the benefit of the doubt.
I do also. I
Well,
don't.
did I hear it right when
This
he
is the
had that
first time
little?
he's dealt with anything remote. Like, this is the first time this community in 40 years has dealt with anything
We
like
already know he
in a
doesn't handle
digital age.
grown-up situations very good. So
So when I was
I got to
listening
give him
to
some
the
credit.
that
Yeah.
conference that he had, did he say that there were no signs before the shooting that he needed to be Baker acted or red flagged?
They're not. They had nobody. They have to think about legality. So there's things that have to happen that reach a level of legality that allow them to take action, and none of that occurred. That's what he's referring to, and he's absolutely right. So they said there were other. I believe he mentioned there were other calls on him, but none of them rose to the level where they can, hey, we have to we have
Right.
to do the red
Baker
flag
acted
or
or
Baker Act
not
or
Baker
whatever.
or
And he goes through that very clearly, and that so That's what he meant when he said not on the radar. You and I and the proletariat out here see, we go to this guy's first thing we do is go to his Facebook page and say, this guy's weird. This guy's doing some strange.
Yeah, he plays games and stuff.
Yeah, and he's like,
It's easy to say
And he
it looking
talks
back.
about
yeah, it's easy to say it look
Mhm.
bad,
well,
but a
he
lot of
talks
people
about
were just
not
doing
fitting
that.
in
Yeah,
and
it
being
was very
bullied.
isolated.
Well, I've heard how it is working for UPS, but I don't think that was this guy's problem. I think he had some other issues going on, and for a mom, like one of the previous calls, they were there for it was just as a standby. The mom wanted to retrieve a few things
All of
out of
them
the
were.
house.
All of
Yeah,
them were
right.
involving her after the first call. She
And
came
they
back
were
that
pretty much
afternoon to
standby. Yeah.
pack, and absolutely right. That's what I reported after I got the stuff. I'm like, she's not living there and she's waiting for this order to play out, the eviction order. So yeah, it wasn't alarming, but the press, a lot of press, right? Well, there were 7 calls to the house. No one tells you why. So what does that do? It just makes your imagination spin. I wanted to know what those 7 calls said, and I reported on that
Well, they'll have the
this past week.
911 tapes,
Yeah,
that they can refer
the
to.
calls are really short. One is like, "Hey, call back in about can you call back in 15 minutes? Okay, you want to pack your bags? Okay, call back in 15 minutes. We'll get you scheduled." And that's what they did. And that was the day of where she called at 6 in the morning for the first thing, that call that her son posted online. That very same call. And that's,
Very strange.
that one, that was the call that I was mostly concerned with because he put it online. There was stuff and Sheriff Flowers addressed that in the press conference. He said, well, if you watch the body cam, the deputies are there and they're explaining to the mom how can she do the eviction notice and go through the process of all that and what they need to facilitate getting him out of the house. And that's what she proceeded to do. It was filed on the 5th. It was mailed from the court on the 6th to the office of the sheriff. They took it out. Terry Sweetie Mashkow took it out on the 10th. I presume she knocked on the door and he didn't answer, so she posted it to the garage. It says so, posted to garage door. And then on the 13th, she called to get another stuff again. And then on the 20th, that was the summons on the 10th. So he has a right to respond. He never responded. They entered in the default judgment. So on the 20th, they delivered the default judgment, posted that to the door as well, said, hey, we're coming out here to get you out. And the following day they came out, and that's when
So he knew they were coming, and he ambushed them. He knew it was all
exactly.
set up.
And he was that deranged person.
Yeah, he was probably on medication too, and so he has those type of thoughts. And from what I heard, that they were patrolling down the street because some of the UPS people were afraid to drive down there to deliver packages because he was going outside and harassing them.
Yes.
So,
He posted some videos of that. Well, maybe not of him harassing them, but you can tell he was.
He's talking with them.
Yeah,
he was
paranoid. Yeah, he was. From what I gathered, he was hyper paranoid that the union was keeping an eye on him, even after he didn't work there, I believe, and because they ate at the same place or something. And I saw him post pictures of union reps in the restaurant, and then videos of the UPS truck driving by. It's like, man, this
I
guy.
talked about it. I said I did a little profile on his online, and you're absolutely right, Mike. All those things are true.
Terry apparently was there twice before that because she was driving down there while the UPS drivers were driving down there because they were afraid to drive down the street. So
she did both of she served the summons and she served the order.
Yep.
Posted the order as well.
He knew it was coming, so he knew it. That's why she did what I told you, Thomas. I'm not going to say it on here, but what he did to her is pretty disturbing, to be honest with you. So he had to be mentally deranged.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you
Yeah.
said, he probably was on some kind of
We don't
psychosomatic
know.
drugs
I
that
don't want
he
to. I don't even want to begin to speculate because I'm just
Yeah.
like, it's harrowing no matter how you look at it. And
I'm
But these are
sure.
things that we
Yeah.
want to know. That's what
Yeah.
Sheila Matthews talks about when you have these shootings, that we
Mhm.
need to know what the whole issue was. Was it partly pharma? What kind of mental health were
yeah,
they receiving? What was the failure? Because these are people that are born and they just don't become crazy. What's happening to society that's taking it from being a normal human being to now you're this
Ambushing
maniac
people.
or this
Yeah.
person that's causing this trauma, and there's
well,
got to be some root cause to it.
Yeah.
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 So, what does this do for the sheriff and his relationship with the county, as far as the administration and his budgeting?
I don't
What's the
know.
next step when that comes up?
I don't know. I mean, even I I don't know. He did mention the budget today, which I was
I
like,
Yeah,
missed that
why?
part.
But
I,
that's
I
me
don't
personally.
I don't think it's going to affect it in any way. I think we're going to have to wait for the next turnaround, and see what happens, because he's got a lot of community support even with everything that's been going on. But the budget didn't really affect this. This was going to
Right.
happen whether it was going to happen. It has nothing to do with the budget.
But
As he said
are
in today's press conference, too, all officers were in full gear, body armor, all of those things that they're required to wear, fully, clothed in that manner. And so they were fully doing their job. He said a combined 85 years of experience. And so from that standpoint, budgeting is not an issue in this case.
Mm-mm.
I'm just
Overall,
wondering if this is
hey,
going to emotionally, is this going to sway any county commissioners into approving what he's been asking for, or is this still going to Tallahassee?
I think prior to this happening, they had already determined. He came back with that whole thing about the constitutionals and their refunds, and it was 5.2, and all of a sudden he realized, yeah, but according to law, you don't get any of the tax collectors' returns because some of those are current returns, and anyway, you just don't get them. It goes into the different part of the fund for the county, and so then it became 2.5 million or something like that, and then from there, 1.4 of it was his, and it was like, well, you didn't get enough money last year, but you're returning 1.4 million.
Right, that part.
There's a sidebar, and
Yeah.
you're like, okay, so they gave him back his $495,000 that he had for outstanding bills, purchase orders that had accrued as he was turning in the final numbers on his budget. So
I thought, did I just lose everybody?
No, you're still
I don't
there.
even think they gave
I
him
think
his
we lost Thomas.
1.4 million.
I thought it was
I'm here.
crazy, and John maybe. No, they're there. I thought it was crazy he was.
Are you here, Mike?
I'm here. I thought it was crazy he was returning $1.4 million. I mean, you're asking for such an increase because you have so much to do and you want to take care of your
But you're
deputies.
required to by
I thought
your budget. That's from your budget previous year. You don't just carry it over. Sometimes
No, but I thought he could spend it though. He could spend it on his department any way he chose. He doesn't have to stick to what he
I mean,
said
that
the
is a
money
good
was going
point.
to.
Like, he
Why
should
didn't that
throw
go
it
out in bonuses to patrolmen, to deputies?
You got
If
me,
you
bro.
wanted to,
I don't
yeah.
I don't pretend to understand the
Yeah.
intricacies of government budgeting because after watching this process, it's amazing that anybody gets any money.
Yes.
Because there's so many accounts and how there's so many accounts and how it moves around. It's like, well, you can have this money, but you can't have that money. But this money over here you can have, but this money you only get 75% of, and this money you get a quarter of. It's just insane.
And
It's
this
very
money's
confusing.
covering the POs that are rolling over.
Yeah, but this money's not. Yeah, but you got another million here, but we're going to keep that, but we're going to give you the PO money. It's really strange.
One thing I wanted to ask your opinion of, I'm sure you saw the clip from the Sebastian Christmas Parade, Sebastian, Florida, of the little dancing group
Oh,
Did you guys get a chance to see that at all?
I saw
yes,
it.
I
Yeah.
saw that. What do they call that? Twerking? Little kids twerking?
Yes.
The something the it's two D's something divas.
Dancing Divas. I knew the
Dancing
name. I wasn't
Divas.
going to throw it
Okay.
out there, but yeah. I don't think that was appropriate for a Christmas parade. What's your opinions on that?
Well, it was followed by a transgender person, was it not?
An even worse act was right after that.
I
I didn't
and
see
I
the
haven't
act
even seen
after
that
that.
one yet.
I didn't see the act after it. What was
Uh,
that?
I did. I had a front row seat, and I wish I didn't. But I felt I
Didn't
felt
unsee it after you saw it.
I deleted the broadcast anyway, like a day later, because the little girls twerking. And it was just like it wasn't great quality to begin with. So I was like, I'm not gonna block anything out. I'm just gonna take the privacy off it. And it was just like
Unfortunately, this is hip hop dance in 2025. I mean, hip hop dance 15 years ago probably wouldn't have that.
I don't know. I mean, that's what it's turning into, and I'm gonna chalk it up to
I think it
fatherless
should be
homes.
age appropriate.
It's
Well,
well, absolutely,
You
and
know?
definitely.
but there
Any of
a
those
lot of
little
people are thinking
girls.
the people who are presenting it think it's age appropriate because the kids are doing it, and you're just like, why are you even teaching them this stuff? Why don't you teach them
Yeah.
ballroom dancing or something?
I just want to
Yeah.
know if any of those little girls had a dad, and if they do, does their dad know what kind of dance they're going to? Are they a part of their life? Because if I just happened to see my daughter's first performance and it was at that parade and she was in that dance group, I would be pissed.
You'd be pulling her out.
They wouldn't have done the first routine I saw. That would be the last routine I saw.
You'd be refunding checks.
Well, some people
I
say it's
thought
a
it was
cultural
ridiculous.
thing.
You know, the fact that there was such a public outcry, you know, it tells me one thing: the dance studio missed their target audience,
Yeah, I heard that they were out of
and
beer.
they didn't understand, you know, the parade organizers don't understand their family community in Sebastian this year, and then to have a transgender guy, and I'm like, and I'm sure what happened here is that this dance company or a school or whatever said, hey, yeah, we have this little group here, they do a dance routine, they're like, yeah, sure, come on.
Right.
They didn't, you know, they're not vetting these things. And the transgender guy, I don't quite understand because, you know, once we go back to that whole age
What
old
was he
question, what
doing?
is a woman?
It was
He was
him
just
and
walking around
no,
behind
no,
them?
I don't
no,
know
no.
either.
It was him and two or three very large women, and they did their own dance
Were they
routine.
women?
I think so. I think the other ones were women. They were very
And what
large.
was she supposed to be? Or
One of
she?
them. I don't know.
I don't know. Just call it a
yeah.
pat.
Yeah,
It's Pat.
I think it's
I'm not
still
going to
out.
call you he, she, they, or there. I'm just going to call you
It's
Pat.
Pat.
Yeah.
The
It's
best
still
sketch
yeah,
in SNL history.
it's still up on our Rumble
call
channel
you
if anybody
Pat.
cares to look for it. But
It's Pat.
It's Pat.
Pat, yeah. No, I'm hoping in years
What
to
is a
come.
woman? It's Pat.
Pat.
I'm hoping in years to come, the people who organize this thing will give us an opportunity to broadcast
I'm
and,
with you, Joey.
and narrate the parade, and hopefully we don't have anything like that again. But
I'd hate to see her. What would your narration be, Mike, if that sort of just went right before your eyes like it did
I'm
when
not
you were
saying
filming the
I
parade?
would be narrating. I think it would probably be more like you and Jen, maybe, or you and Joanne narrating, or somebody else. But I don't. I think
Sorry, we've had to
Yeah.
cut our feed to the parade moment.
we don't have a bleep button, but yeah, you might have to mute me. But
Well,
yeah,
I'll tell
I
you,
thought it was kind of crazy.
I thought I'm competitive, so I thought the Vero Beach parade was way better than the Sebastian parade.
See, I'm partial always usually to the Sebastian parade because Moms for Liberty has been shunned by the Vero Beach organizers.
Moms for Liberty wasn't in it this year, were they?
No, it did not do a
No.
parade float this year, but they've been shunned by Vero Beach. They once said they didn't want politics, and then they had a political float. So they told us we're not.
Yeah. And
It's just
I just after watching it online, I was like, oh, Vero Beach really did a good job.
they did do a good job, and
Yeah.
I'm really stoked for the football team. One of the reasons I haven't been around here is because I went to every playoff game except the last one.
That was the one that counted. Who's going to win tomorrow? It's going to be tough.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that, but
I am thinking that.
Lake Mary has got a pretty strong team from what I hear.
I'll tell you what, that game, I went down to Caps, our favorite place, John,
There you go.
Oh,
and
love
watched the
their
game.
meatball sauce.
The first half, I was going to go to the game, and then I just wasn't feeling right, so I didn't go. I lied down and listened to it on the radio. Then I started feeling better. I'm like, oh yeah, it's at Caps. So I went to Caps and watched the second half, and that is the best atmosphere to watch a football game.
Right?
It is.
I know.
Oh my gosh, I'm going tomorrow night.
Are you?
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
about. I was
They
thinking
get
about
busy
coming.
there.
Oh, you know, and
Yeah.
everybody's drinking beer out of those.
Where are you going to park?
mason jars.
Right.
I'm
You're parked next
probably-
door. It's parking next
I don't
door.
care. I'll park in front of the Audi if it ever opens, but wherever I need to park,
Right.
just so I can go, because that was just the people in there were like we're all rooting together. It was just it
Awesome.
was
Party
camaraderie.
atmosphere.
Watching
Family
these kids when
atmosphere.
there's an injury, everyone's just like get up because they don't want to see these kids get hurt. And I'll tell you what, that was one hard fought football game, and you saw the atmosphere on TV at Caps, and you see 500 people in the end zone around the edge of the fence looking on to the football and on the football field, and it was just there were a ton of fans in the visitors section because the whole home side sold out. I think the whole thing sold out probably, and it was just amazing and truly incredible thing to watch. And
So-
with that kind of push, how could they lose?
That game is tomorrow night at 7 p.m., right?
I think it's 7 or
I think
kickoff.
it's 7, and you can watch
7
it.
kickoff's like at 7:30 or something. So
People can watch it at Caps Pizza and Pub. There's other restaurants that are broadcasting it, but Caps is
I
our
know
favorite.
Caps does it, and
Yeah.
you get a pizza, you sit down, and you just go nuts with a bunch of people.
We should air it at Caps.
It's
Do like a live.
Well,
feed
maybe
at Caps, having a good
somebody
time.
can go down there and get some comments from some of the
I just made it harder for me to get a seat, but it's just
Yeah.
too much fun. I couldn't. They do the show there every Wednesday night with Christian FM with the players and stuff, and I hope everyone's buying them pizza for the rest of the year after they win this thing.
They deserve it. All right, John, you got anything going on you want to add? What's coming up?
No, that's it. Just working on some guests for TGI Now podcast. So I got some people I got to meet with tomorrow. So we're going to start getting some more guests now that we got the new platform going. So I'm looking forward to that. That's about it.
What about your conspiracy club, John?
Next month, we're going to do it
Next
next
month.
month. Yep, next month. Yeah, we had to skip this month, but I'm going to
No
build
conspiracies this month. Darn.
No,
There's
next.
plenty of conspiracies out there, man.
Yeah, December's a
Never
busy
ending.
month. By the way,
That there's no
It is-
conspiracies is a
We
conspiracy.
did have some people show. We did have some people show up though, so it was kind of funny. That's all right.
I met my wife for lunch today, and she was just livid because they were spraying the skies like nobody's business.
I
I
don't know.
know. It's horrible.
And she goes on. She goes on the Skywatcher stuff, and she says, "This is happening, Thomas, all over the state right now."
Yep.
And I'm like, "It's illegal,
No,
and yet they're just these people don't care.
Nope.
no,
Lawlessness runs, and it's
yeah. It doesn't matter. And it's the sad part is that when they shut the government down, it was nice, it was sunny, it was blue skies for a minute for about 3 weeks. And as soon as the government reopened up, it's been like this ever since.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
pretty obvious now. So again, we have to point these things out.
Yeah, so we'll be doing the next one. It's the second Thursday of the month, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that'll be in January. We'll put out some details when
Yeah,
we get
I'm gonna
closer.
gather some stuff. Yeah.
Yep. We've got our show on Wednesday nights. Obviously, we won't be here for, I believe, Christmas Eve. We won't be doing a show, To The Point podcast, but we are going to do one next week, and then New Year's Eve, we plan on doing our longer stream. So if anybody wants to jump in, you're more than welcome. I don't know how it'll work out, but I'll have something streaming. And if anybody wants to jump on, talk about the year, we can do that.
Can I give you a quick shout out?
Yes, please.
Operation Hope. I did a
Yeah.
story on Operation Hope. They got burglarized on Thanksgiving, and they're having their Christmas festival on December 20th from 12 to 4 p.m. But a lot of what was taken, their thrift store got burglarized, and all the clothes were taken. There were a lot of jeans that they have, that men, women, kids, all that was taken. A lot of Christmas stuff was taken, which includes toys that they usually just end up giving away to the kids. But one of the things they're doing too is they give away bicycles from ages 5 to 12. And so if you have an older bike, uh, we don't want a rusty bucket or anything like that, but they want a bike that kids can use, age 5 to 12, and they're trying to give away 100. They got 100 helmets from donors, so they're trying to match.
Wow.
But since I've written it, I've seen people online who've read the page goes, "This is horrible. I've got a bike. How do I get it over there?" And I tell them, and so they'll come pick it up. They'll do whatever. Operation Hope has been there for 23 years. This has never happened in the history of that organization where they've been burglarized like this. So times are tough. But Jesse Zermano and his wife uh, are just amazing people.
Yeah, they're not political.
No,
So
not
some things they stand for you might not totally agree with, but they do very good for the community.
yeah. He
Uh,
does that. He does. He his testimony of how the Operation Hope came to be is just incredible.
yeah, and they want to help all people of the community. It
Yes,
doesn't
they
matter
do.
who. Yeah,
Yeah, we should have him on. We should have him on the show.
yeah.
Yeah,
We'll be
arrange that.
yeah, and we'll be meeting with some other people tomorrow too that we might be help facilitating a show or something like that. But all these people in the county have great stories, and of course, Thomas, if you ever want to do interview style on video, you're more than welcome to use our platform because there's a lot of people in this town. Like that's right down the road from me, and
Yes.
I'm sure my neighbor doesn't know nothing about them. You see activity there every now and then. But well, shout out to the Mexican community. They're very vibrant today because it's the Our Lady of Guadalupe Day, which is if
What
you
is
try,
that?
I'll tell you the story, but it's crazy because
Catholic
I ask
holiday.
myself what it was all the time because I leave for work at 5 o'clock in the morning, and when I drive past the church in Fellsmere, it is packed. Cars parked down the road. 512 leading to the church looks like it's a Sunday afternoon or Monday afternoon, and it's 5 in the morning, and everybody's going to the church, and they do this all day. And what it is it commemorates it's the feast day, is what they call it in the Catholic community, and
Yes.
the Juan Diego, which is not his original name, had an apparition of the Virgin Mary in 1531, just outside Mexico City. Four apparitions, I believe, which led to a shrine being built, and they referred to it as Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Oh,
Yeah, who is the patron saint of not just Mexico but America also.
Really?
And yep, and Juan Diego, canonized in 2003, just after the passing of Pope John Paul, um, is now Saint Diego, I guess.
Saint
Uh,
Juan Diego.
yeah, who was actually um,
sounds like
he
a tour.
referred to himself as poor, but what they say was he wasn't poor, he was poor in faith because he was a very wealthy Aztec prince who had converted to Catholicism during that major
Mm.
issue. So, I mean, it's a Mexican Catholic holiday, but it's a big deal for the Americas, I would say. So it's
Big
interesting.
deal for Fellsmere. My goodness.
Yes, very big deal. Very big deal. I know I did some research because I put out a video today, a little short video and educational about it. And it was pretty neat. I learned a lot more than I needed to know. But
So does that happen at that little church right across from the park? There's a
which,
church in
It's the big
Fellsville.
Catholic church when you come into town. I think it's on
yeah,
the
they
right when
have
you come in, right?
It's right by the Dollar General, and car wash is right there. There's a big statue now they put up a year or two ago of the Virgin Mary and Juan Diego. So it's we do come from a very diverse community, or at least I do. I live in a very diverse community, but again, it's refreshing to see the faith being practiced at that volume. The amount of people who make their
Pretty
pilgrimage
cool.
to the church, it is. It's good to know that there's still faith in God out there, and people aren't afraid to show it. So,
God is king.
yeah. Other than that, I got nothing else to pump out. Just keep a eye out for our other shows. Tune in on Christmas Eve. I'll probably go live on all the platforms. I don't know. We'll see. We'll stream the ball dropping somehow, some way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did some last year, so yeah,
Yeah,
that'll
that's
be
what I
good.
thought.
If you stay up too late on Christmas Eve, Santa Claus won't come.
That's
That's
what true.
Christmas Eve. We're talking about New Year's Eve.
Oh, New Year's Eve.
The ball drops on New Year's Eve.
And I'll come
I
over
don't
and
know
eat
how
the
your
cookies.
Christmas is going.
I'm already thinking about Christmas.
Anyways, all right, folks. We appreciate you.
We've
and
really run over now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good. We'll catch everybody next week.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Indian River Connections brings you the first source you can watch for truth on board decisions in Indian River County. The Board Report, where taxpayers and policymakers intersect. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite platform to get notified when we go live on Fridays at 7 p.m. Visit IndianRiverConnections.com for more.